It's finally the big day. The launch of Levella's Scents and Fragrance, a top fashion company in the city of Uves, the rising star of the Middle East. This grand event is hosted by the Ray Corporation's Paramount Building, the corporation that transformed the rural areas of Uves and turned it into a city of beauty and bliss. Cha Jung-hoon, the grumpy CEO whose personality is exactly like Chairman Cha, his father, yet his face as stunning as his mother's, has the floor. Meanwhile, an intruding conversation goes on between two nosy men in the audience. They discuss about the CEO's grumpy behavior and how proud his mom would be if she were not 6 feet under. However, his efforts has failed to yield great results as the people of Uves are yet to fully accept the company's fragrance, regardless of all efforts to promote their signature scents. Maybe it's his punishment for trying to get a bigger share of the company and its income. The CEO concludes his speech with the promise that Levella will present an entirely new and innovative beauty to the people of Uves. Manager Han informs him of the next appointment. As they're about to leave, some armed, raging men barge in on them, putting everyone in a state of panic and fear. Terrorists. They're terrorists. People are gunned down as the others try to run. CEO Cha tries to take cover. Could be at Uve's vast growth that has neighboring countries envious, or their exact target is CEO Cha. Invading his thoughts, a terrorist grabs him by the neck and wants to choke him to death. He begins to lose sight. Like a ray of sunlight creeping into a dark room filled with potted plants, the SIP Special Forces comes to his rescue. Shocked by the military's quick intervention, the attackers try to hide him from his saviors. In a bid to quickly get the job done, the Somalian terrorist corks his gun and is about to fire, but gets smacked in the face by the Special Forces Solider and instantly gets knocked out. What a close call. CEO Cha must have missed getting shot, but the Solider wasn't too lucky. Another raging attacker shot her right in the arm as droplets of blood missed Cha's face despite being hinged over him as she tried to shield him from the bullet. The soldier's colleague made sure to pay the terrorist in his kind and hits him from the back with his gun. He instructs that the wounded Solider escorts the CEO and herself to safety as he requested for backup. CEO Cha realized that the Solider was in fact a female, a woman. He failed to see through her glaring feminine build due to all the chaos that happened earlier and immediately gets enchanted by her scent. I guess he's a sucker for sweet scents and fragrances. This scent was so overpowering that it cut through the smell of gunpowder and blood that filled the air like they just encountered hell. An experience he'd never forget in a jiffy. On the roof of the building, they wait for the rescue helicopter to arrive. The female Solider insists on going back to help her colleague and almost drops to the floor, but the CEO helped her regain balance. He reminds her of how much blood she has lost and the need to get to a doctor. She agrees to go down with him and tries to assure him of how far she's willing to go, just to protect him, especially when she noticed that he might not be a fan of heights and moving aircrafts. He gets a glimpse of her name and still proceeds to ask when they finally touch the ground, while she was more interested in getting him to see the doctor, despite escaping the attack unharmed. Something definitely caught her attention. The bomb! The other Soliders failed to locate the explosives and disarm it. It's either they evacuate the building or end up as dead meat. The Soliders are trained for such disasters, yet they can't help panicking. The female Solider dashes out to save those left in the building. CEO Cha tries to stop her but gets stopped by the other Soliders and gets forced to blurt out Jung Ha-yoon, but calling her name couldn't even stop her. He definitely can't forget her. Not this experience. Not what felt like a soul connection. 12 months have passed and the candle of Cha and Ha-yoon's love story has still not been lit. It's a cold, snowy night in Seoul, South Korea, and this young lady regrets not wearing layers upon layers of fabric. Guess who it is? It's the female Solider from that intense, dangerous night, Jung Ha-yoon. Walking the freezing streets of Seoul, she comes across a gigantic billboard with Seocha's face and a bottle of Levella's fragrance in hand, with eyes that could pierce her soul and a smile that irritates her eyes. Levella has really grown over the year and seems to have taken over Seoul. Jung Ha-yoon seemed like she was stuck in a trance or simply fascinated by the CEO's sculpted facial features. She's awakened from her daze by a familiar voice, calling a not-so-familiar name. It's her senior from the military. The unfamiliar name must have been a nickname of hers during active duty. Her senior looked so different. She looked nothing like her nickname, Blade Ghost, that totally erased any memory of her birth name. Blade Ghost equally noticed Ha-yoon's intense stare and admitted that she was equally intrigued by his enchanting face. She heard from a reliable source that he looks exactly how he's portrayed on every billboard promotion. Ha-yoon felt that this was quite exaggerated as she remembered his face from that night. Looks like all the brand promotion from that night finally paid off. Look who is on a billboard, as a model, for a brand he took right back to the top where it actually belongs. A fashion company into cosmetics and scents. They've definitely expanded a lot. They sell it all. Just name it, Levella's beauty has you covered. The reward of the CEO's hard work. Blade Ghost reminds Hongji about how cold it was earlier, and she remembers how she almost froze to death. Yes, Hongji is the same person as Jung Ha-yoon, must have been her name during active duty. Her senior offers to get her a jacket as an extra layer of fabric. She refuses the offer and gets taunted about how cold her heart must feel without a romantic partner, and her body deserves to be warm at least. She finally gives in to the pressure. Meanwhile, the CEO on the streets of Hongdae? This is quite unusual. With manager Han leading the way, they check out the stores and how much of the area the marketing team has covered. It's Christmas. Why on earth is the CEO analyzing small shops in Hongdae and not soaking in the spirit of the holiday with his family? Manager Han is bewildered. The CEO senses that Han is lost in his thoughts and reminds him that the position of secretary is vacant, and for him to get off his neck, he should find an ever-present, resilient fellow. There's just one problem. Where will he find a secretary who can handle the CEO's crazy work schedule or tolerate his harshness and critique? Past secretaries have resigned after a space of 2 months, and this time it won't just be about the mind, but the physique as well. The manager gets jerked out of his thoughts by the CEO's voice, asking if he doesn't want to go into one of the stores. It's an experimental store to test how well his designs will be accepted in the market. The results are definitely not positive. Maybe he should stick with the chairman's taste. He's prompted to ask the store's manager what the problem could be, and she has no definite answer. He gets furious. She raises a defense of properly arranging the products to stand out, and he gets infuriated. He asks if she has ever tried analyzing every customer's reaction, or she's more concerned with the product arrangement. In the middle of the heated query, Ha-yoon and her senior walk into the store. Cha recognizes one of his designs on Blade Ghost. There's a slight sense of excitement. Ha-yoon isn't pleased with any of the designs and blurted that everything in the store isn't just her style. Everyone is shocked, especially manager Han. How can she say the designs of charming Cha isn't just her thing? It might be that she's too obsessed with her military clothing, or she just doesn't have a thing for Levella. They're about to leave the store when the CEO stops them, flaunting his charm and elegance just to get them to buy something. The senior immediately gets impressed, as a big fan of Cha's. His proactive attitude shocks his staff. I guess he can do anything just to make the people love and adore him and his designs. Not swayed by his charm at all, Ha-yoon stands firm on not getting anything from the store. Manager Han is perplexed. Never has any woman refused the CEO's charm. Who is this woman? Ha-yoon questions the CEO about the need to promote the clothing items in Levella's store, and he tells her that he was informed about some statement pieces that are sold here. He proceeds to start a promotional speech but gets cut off by Ha-yoon's unwavering spirit. She leaves the store with her senior. Frustrated and annoyed, the CEO got lost in thoughts. Seizing that opportunity, someone swoops in and steals the CEO's phone. Manager Han raises an alarm. After leaving the store, Blade Ghost couldn't still wrap her head around why Ha-yoon acted that way and proceeds to ask if she has met Cha before. Ha-yoon's still trying to process her feelings and speak. Got hit by the guy from earlier? Yes. The thief that stole the CEO's phone. Manager Han comes running from behind, alerting them of the thief. Without a second thought, Ha-yoon runs straight for the thief, ignoring her senior's efforts to stop her. The thief finally stops running, thinking he lost everyone on his tail. Ha-yoon bursts his bubble, grabs him back against the ground, hands on the phone. In a matter of seconds, it's now in her possession. Manager Han and the senior comes running from behind, screaming Ha-yoon's name in a blink of an eye. The thief was gone. Not interested in Ha-yoon's victory, but how the thief is an obsessed stalker of the CEO, Manager Han went on and on about how the thief should be behind bars for a really long time. The senior gets annoyed and draws his attention back to the phone in front of him. He apologizes and appreciates Ha-yoon. Senior Blade Ghost remembers how energetic and fast Jiwoo used to be on the racetrack during their 808th Special Forces training, praising her with the smile of a proud mother. Manager Han overhears their conversation and gets surprised. He asks if Jiwoo by any chance knows Jung Ha-yoon. Jiwoo claims not to know Jung Ha-yoon. It's surprising. Senior seems to not know as well. Han is disappointed. He can't let this encounter be totally fruitless. He proposes a job opening. After the fight she put up with the CEO earlier, she's definitely the girl for the job. Senior encourages her to give it a shot as they walk down the street. She sights a store with clothes she actually likes. It's a military green jacket. The senior is amused. Hyun tells her she wants to identify as a solider till the very end. Back home, Ji-woo is having trouble sleeping. Thoughts of an upcoming exam crowds her mind. She needs to pass. It's only once a year, she just can't afford to fail. A senior recommended that she goes to an academy to help her pass the English writing exams. The physical part of the exam poses no issue at all. She is about to study but gets disrupted by a call from her mom. She lets her know about her dad's accident and she gets really worried. Her dad is an ex-Marine officer who sometimes forgets that he is retired and does a totally different job now, ironing at the dry cleaners. While working, he sights some kids in a fist fight. He rushes out to separate the fight and almost starts a fire. Luckily, the fire was put out on time, but the clothes didn't escape the heat. It just had to be a luxury coat and shirt from one of the high-end brands. Her mom narrates. Hyun is infuriated. She requests to know the exact brand to enable her estimate its worth. Guess what? It's Leivela. Her mother is really upset, and Hyun has no words because the items are worth over 10 million won. It's either they pay or dad gets into serious trouble. Her severance pay can't do a thing. Back at his mansion, the CEO just can't get over the series of rejection he got at the store earlier today. He can't wrap his finger around why someone would hate any of his designs. Hyun definitely lacks style. Manager Han steps in to give a progress report on the search for Jung Hyun, but there's actually no progress. Just a report. The CEO is perplexed as to why it's taking forever to find just one person, the one with the key to his heart. Manager Han is fed up. He definitely has had enough of Seo Cha and his insensitivity. The next day, Manager Han is beyond excited to see Ji-woo, his one-way ticket to finally escape Seo Cha. Ji-woo needs to save her dad by taking the job. She needs to earn something aside her severance pay. She gets a job description and she immediately gets turned off. She can't imagine being the CEO's secretary. Han gives her reasons why she's the one for the job. After the attack by the stalker, they need a physically and mentally capable personal assistant. She walks out on him. On the last batch of the interviews, and they still can't find a worthy candidate. Then she walks in. A lady that catches the eyes of the CEO. Who is she? How has she been able to sway him? It's Hong Ji-woo. Did she rethink the offer? Earlier, after walking out on Han, the persistent manager wasn't about to lose his ticket to freedom. He makes a huge offer that no one in their right senses will reject. An offer of 100 million won. That's way more than the lump sum her father owes the owner of the burnt Leivela clothing. The reason she considered the job offer in the first place. After being held in her overly rational thoughts, she gives in. It's a once-in-a-lifetime offer. She goes further to ask for an advance worth the cost of the clothing items. The manager is willing to do anything it takes to keep her, so he quickly agrees. Meanwhile, in the interview room, Ji-woo tries her best to impress the CEO. He insists on there being nothing special about her to enable her stand out from the other applicants. About to be dismissed, Ji-woo had to prove her worth. She drops to the ground and starts press-ups, then pull-ups. The CEO watched with so much anticipation. He felt a familiar feeling, the one he felt 12 months ago. Could she really help him find Hyun? His hopes were rekindled. A week has passed. She received all the briefing and training she'll need, working as the CEO's secretary. His sensitive nature and irritable attitude can be quite a handful. She's about to find out why 100 million is offered for 6 months. She musters courage and rings the doorbell. An unfamiliar voice answers. That's definitely not Seo Cha. She thought he lives alone. She's amazed by the view that greets her. This is definitely a botanical garden and not a house. Tropical plants in winter? The temperature makes her miss summer. A tall, dazzling figure enchants her eyes. The CEO is watering the plants in the greenhouse. He asks her to turn off the water. This is about to pose quite a problem. There's no valve. It's either she drops the bags and risks them getting soaked in order to properly turn off the water, or struggle with all the bags and clothes. She chooses the latter. The clothes almost drop to the ground. She comes to its rescue. Because of all the rummaging in her head, she forgets to switch off the faucet. Boom, it's raining in the greenhouse. The CEO orders her to go switch off the tap. She forgets about the water on the floor and is about to fall. Is she going to die? All this for a 100 million contract? What if she dies on the first day? She has no way of supporting her body because her arms are full. She's definitely going to land heads first. The CEO pleads with her to remain conscious. He can't believe she's about to faint for almost falling backwards. Wait, did the CEO just save her? It's her first day at work and she's already playing Romeo and Juliet with her boss. She regains consciousness and tries to get out of the CEO's grip. Her hand caresses his chest. She just made things a little bit awkward. Apologizing in a struggle, the CEO calls her to order. She almost fell on his favorite plant. That's why he saved her, or else she'd kill it. His plants are like his children. He wouldn't go through the hassle of making his house a botanical garden. All for nothing, Manager Han told her earlier. She didn't destroy the plants, but the CEO's coat wasn't so lucky. It got drenched during the fall. The CEO didn't expect an ex-Special Forces member to be this clumsy. Now she has to pick out his new outfit for the meeting. She can't seem to find the right outfit in Cha's closet. She definitely lacks a good fashion sense, all thanks to the military. Or maybe he's trying to get back at her for her actions during their first meet at the store. He's fed up and decides to pick an outfit himself. He orders her to bring him a tie. She offers to help him knot it and almost strangles him. He teases her about wanting to choke him. She then remembers all Manager Han said about his taunting jokes, so she tries not to take it to heart. In the car, the CEO tries to make sure this is the last event. After all the mishaps that occurred today, he's definitely exhausted. It's the seminar celebrating the launch of the textile-based platform. The CEO is about to give his speech and suddenly Ji-woo needs to use the restroom. She proceeds to ask the CEO, but she's unaware that he has turned on his mic. Her request goes on air. They're both embarrassed. He tells her to always go without asking. In a matter of minutes, the seminar is over as she sights the press running towards the CEOs. She remembers one of the criterias for being Cha's secretary: never leave him alone in a crowded place. Meanwhile, the press are confronting the CEO about rumors of a man frequently seen entering his house and whether he's gay. The CEO needs to make a clarification article to deal extensively with these allegations. Ji-woo dashes out of the blue and tries to escort the CEO to safety, away from the eyes of the press. The CEO isn't quite thrilled about her act of heroism and tries to stop her, but she's hell-bent on getting the job done. She also can't seem to understand why she's acting so impulsively. She just made matters even more complicated for the CEO, as running away instead of clearing up the rumors now makes it seem true. She had good intentions, but it just didn't come out so well. It's the next day and it's about to be a long one. The CEO is already infuriated about the poor report system by Levella's mangers. He's easily irritated. His words pierce deeper than a knife as he scolds these poor old men. Secretary Hong wonders if this is a meeting or a battlefield. The dreaded meeting is finally over. Cha asks that his next appointment be cancelled. Why? Is there finally someone the CEO dreads? Does his dread director Min of Tex Korea? Isn't that his high school friend? Despite canceling the appointment, Min still shows up. Ji-woo is shocked. Min tells her that same-day cancellations just don't work as he'd need prior information to get him off Cha's neck. But Min doesn't seem like one to let loose easily. The CEO asks to see him in his office. Director Min seems to like Ji-woo. After weeks of working as the CEO's secretary, she finally gets a day off. She decides to go drink and have dinner with her senior. She rants about how hectic the past few weeks have been. Mid-talk, her senior points at a cardboard figure of the CEO. Ji-woo is startled. She thought that the CEO has come to intrude her nice dinner with her senior. They speak about how staring so long at the CEO's handsome face can make it lose its appeal. Ji-woo disagrees. She still wants to punch that handsome face of his. Working with the CEO has made her even dislike him more. Her senior offers her the fashion book that she asked her to bring and wonders why she needs it. She tells her how working with the CEO of a top fashion company needs her to upgrade her fashion sense. Despite all her dedication, the CEO never appreciates her efforts, and it's beginning to take a toll on her. Ji-woo starts to get drunk. She refuses to put down the bottle as she goes on and on about how frustrated she is with the CEO. People start listening in on their conversation, and her senior tells her to keep it down. Suddenly, the real CEO, and not his cardboard copy, is behind her. She finds it hard to believe that it's him. Drunk Ji-woo is still delusional as she finds it hard to believe, possibly because it's unlikely to find the CEO in a place like this. She proceeds to pinch the CEO's face, surprised that his dupe feels so warm and can even talk. She tells her senior how much she wants to take it out on that prickly hedgehog. Did Ji-woo just call the CEO a prickly hedgehog? Right in front of him? She's about to get into serious trouble. She wakes up and thinks it was all a dream. She decides to call her senior and realizes that she might be in big trouble. She needs to come up with a solution quickly. It's workday, and Ji-woo decides to atone for her sins. She puts her cleaning skills from the military into action. Chairman Kim's secretary interrupts her practice apology session. He looks quite suspicious and cunning. He asks for some documents that the previous secretary was supposed to pass on to him. Manager Han never mentioned such to her. She's about to call the CEO to confirm, but the secretary stops her, saying Cha is aware already. He taunts her about needing some autonomy and flexibility, and she remembered the CEO said something similar too. She decides to believe him and hand over the documents. The CEO finally arrives, and Ji-woo moves head-on to apologize. He cites the potted plant she got and stares in admiration. He makes her know that he'd never hold something said in a drunken state over a person. All this is definitely because of the plant. He admires how dedicated she is to the little details. A lady inquires of the CEO, claiming to be his mother. His mother? Ji-woo is in disbelief. She looks too young. Kim Yoonhwa isn't surprised to see a new secretary. She can't wait to see how long this one can last. CEO Cha rushes out to welcome her. She shares how impressed she is with him. The employees seem to be up and doing. Ji-woo comes in with the coffee chairman Kim requested earlier. Mixed coffee? Kim is amused. The chairman's taste has become cheaper. He's also letting go of Levella's luxury items. Seems she's aware of the trial store in Hongdae. He raises the defense of all his actions being for the benefit of Levella. They agree to settle their scores at the board meeting. Back to the mixed coffee Ji-woo served, the CEO is embarrassed. It just had to be before Chairman Kim. He only had mixed coffee in the military, he might as well give it another taste. It's sweet, maybe not the taste he was expecting. He seems to be on cloud 9. The following day, Ji-woo is at work early, quite too early for her. She's exhausted already, and at this rate, she might die from overworking. The CEO asked her to pick up some clothing samples from the copper factory. She proceeds to the elevator, only to find out it's broken. This is definitely not the time to use the stairs. But she has run out of options. It's either the stairs, or get a query from her boss for arriving late. While taking the stairs, she hears some voices in some sort of argument. It's an employee accusing an old cleaning lady of stealing a USB flash with an important document on it. The cleaning lady tries to explain to him that she didn't take it. He refuses to believe her and is about to hit her when Ji-woo intervenes. The employee is furious. Ji-woo tells him that he might have misplaced it and is just trying to pin it down on another person, and he gets even more annoyed. He's about to hit the CEO's secretary when a hand grabbed his. It's the CEO. He's not interested in why his employee is about to hit his secretary. He's just concerned about why Ji-woo wasted time and wasn't taking her calls. Ji-woo is about to explain when she cites the stalker. She has to deal with this before the CEO cites the shadowy figure. She goes after the stalker and they end up on the rooftop of the building. They get to a close range and Ji-woo figures out that the stalker is actually female and she's armed with a knife. Does it really get any worse? She wonders what exactly the stalker wants. She just can't wrap her head around what this stalker might actually want. All of a sudden, she can't seem to defend herself, not able to lift her hands or move her body. She might actually be doomed. Before the stalker could do her any further harm, some men come to her rescue. The CEO tries to keep her conscious as he wonders what exactly his secretary is up to. She regains consciousness, trying to understand where she is. She remembers her fight with the stalker and how she left the CEO hanging. She just keeps increasing the amount of times her name is being written on the CEO's naughty list. Back in the CEO's office, he taunts her about how raggedy she looks. He demands an explanation. She can't mention the stalker. She decides to lie about how she tripped on the stairs while trying to assist someone, and Cha is fed up. He reminds her of all her heroic adventures throughout the week. How she handled the troublesome customer at the cafe? Or was it how she intervened in the fight between an employee and a peddler? Then today it's the cleaning lady's issue. She must be a guardian or a symbol of justice. Her injuries from the fight with the stalker definitely exposed her lie. The CEO draws her attention to all her bodily harm. He tells her that he isn't concerned whether she gets hurt or not. Her meddling with affairs that doesn't concern her disrupts his busy schedule. He asks her to leave his sight. While beating herself up outside the CEO's office, he calls to inform her about her appointment at Daehan Hospital, the one he booked himself. He tells her that through the help of the CCTV footage, he's aware of her encounter with the stalker. Ji-woo gets into an inward fight with herself. Her clumsiness is going to cost her a lot. Later on, Chairman Kim's secretary, Cheon, pays the CEO a visit. He informs the CEO about a schedule change regarding the board meeting. The CEO is perplexed, who comes out of the blue and announces a change. Secretary Cheon tells him that an urgent issue needs to be handled, and that's why Chairman Kim called for the urgent board meeting. He demands that Secretary Cheon gives him an overview of the meeting's agenda. He tells him that it's about an internal accusation against him, the CEO. Cha is confused. What could this internal accusation possibly be? Meanwhile, Ji-woo is out of the hospital. The CEO isn't back from the urgent board meeting Director Han informed her about. She is also confused as to why the emergency meeting wasn't on schedule. She cites the potted plant she got for the CEO. The flower lady told her that the plant brings luck when it blooms, and it's yet to. She wonders if she has anything called luck in her life. A few minutes later, the CEO walks in. He looks furious. He's making a fuss about some pending documents that need revision. Seems Ji-woo didn't dispatch them adequately. He makes mention of the instant coffee mix. He doesn't approve of it. It's quite surprising, because that day, he seemed ecstatic about it. Must have been something Chairman Kim said at the board meeting today. She can only wonder what went wrong. He suggests that she goes back to the military and continue serving such cheap coffee as it's not fit for the status quo of Leivella. In his opinion, she definitely needs more training on the job description. The phone rings, it's Manager Han. He's on about the documents that Ji-woo passed on to Chairman Kim's secretary the other day. Those documents were actually confidential, and Ji-woo was tricked into passing them on without the CEO's permission. He tells her that the documents were the agenda of the emergency board meeting. They mentioned that the CEO be suspended from his duties. No wonder the CEO was angry when he got back. She is frustrated. Manager Han apologizes for all the hard times she's having. The words of her senior back in the military comes to her mind. Truly, society is a battlefield without guns and knives. It's closing time and Ji-woo gets a text from the CEO instructing that she goes home without him. This is definitely because of what happened at the board meeting. She's about to leave and she cites the stalker again. What does she want at this time of the day? This stalker is quite skilled and doesn't give up easily. The stalker cites Ji-woo and decides to come back another day. She isn't going to let that happen. She runs towards the stalker and suddenly she pulls out a coin. What is the stalker intending to do with that? She aims at a jar and that tiny nickel breaks it. She's trying to stop Ji-woo from coming after her. However, she's adamant and accepts the challenge. She steps on the broken ceramic jar and it cuts through her flesh. It's definitely going to hurt. The stalker escapes. While nursing her injury, she hears a familiar voice. It's the CEO. He's on the phone with someone. Complaining about picking Ji-woo, he thought that being an ex-member of the forces would make her quite useful. Turns out she's just a stubborn solider, who he can't understand why she left the army. He ends the call. Could it be a lover? He cites Ji-woo in hiding and asks why she hasn't gone home yet. She lies about getting lost in the parking lot. The CEO asks if she overheard everything, and she says yes. He tries to apologize, and she tells him that she actually wanted to stay in the military but had to leave due to some circumstances. The CEO feels guilty for judging her so quickly. He tries to change the subject of their conversation, so he decides to water the plants. Ji-woo offers to help him. She's about taking the hose from him when she feels a sudden sharp pain in her leg, where she had the cut from the ceramic jar. She drops the hose and it suddenly turns on and splashes all over her face. The CEO tries to come to her rescue and almost falls down. She reaches out to catch him, and they get locked in a gaze and they interlock hands. He gets a flashback of Jung Ha-yoon's face and asks if they've met before. Ji-woo can't seem to remember anything. Did she have an accident that wiped her memory? He asks if she ever changed her name at any point, and she tells him she has been Ji-woo right from birth. CEO Cha is unhappy and disappointed. She asks the CEO to let go of her hands. He notices her cut and sees it bleeding. He thinks the hose hit her. She tells him that she accidentally cut herself on a piece of the broken pottery jar. He then proceeds to lift her up, trying to avoid blood droplets on the expensive Italian marble floor. So that wasn't actually an act of love and care. He takes her inside his studio. She's amazed at how beautiful his studio looks. Seems he deals more on female clothing, and surprisingly, he makes them himself. He starts treating her wound and tells her how tired he is of her always getting hurt. He tells her to forget about the stalker, as paying so much attention will only make her keep coming back. His words were unexpectedly kind and almost made her heart flutter. She remains determined and refuses to give up on the stalker. She's about to leave when the CEO tells her it's too late to be outside and she should actually spend the night at his studio. She suddenly goes dumb. Spending the night in the same place as this stunning male figure? It's about to get awkward. Stay here tonight, but you're taking off your clothes. Ji-woo becomes uncomfortable. The CEO tells her that his clothes got soaked from carrying her after the hose incident. He tells her to make use of the other rooms if she isn't so comfortable. He gives her a sample collection dress to put on by morning. It's definitely awkward sharing a house with her weird boss, but yet she can't help but feel comfortable on the cozy bed and the smell of a familiar scent. She wonders if it's okay for her to feel this way about her boss. The next day, she shows up to work putting on the sample collection dress. The CEO refuses to admit that she looks extremely stunning in them as he tells her to get right into the business of the day. A week later, it's been predicted that the country should expect warm days. However, the winds in Leivella's HQ remain icy cold. Maybe it's matters of the CEO's suspension that made surviving the week painfully difficult. While driving, they come across a Leivella outlet, and they seem to be hosting an event. It's a whack-a-mole game to win a hand cream, Leivella's newest product. They welcome the CEO and invite him to play. He tries out the new product and urges the people to give it a try. They're all in awe of his stunning, tall figure. He looks just like he does in the photos. He starts playing and recalls everything that went down at the emergency board meeting. How all the people that watched him stress and try to grow Leivella are now lobbying for his suspension. He vents all his anger on the moles as they pop up, and he hits a score of 732 points. That's the highest score. He asks Secretary Hong to play, but she refuses, and he orders her to play, taunting her, saying his score might be too high for her to beat. She gives it a shot and ends up with 900 points. He's shocked and asks for another round. She tells him that they don't seem to have enough time on their hands. Back in the car, the CEO doesn't feel too happy about Ji-woo's high score. He demands another round on a ladder date. They arrive at the venue for the fashion show event, and the CEO looks brighter than ever. As a professional, he adapts so well to situations. Ji-woo wonders how she ended up as the secretary of someone so dazzling. Ji-woo leaves to find a parking spot, and the press starts interviewing the CEO. He's quite uncomfortable, and wonders where Secretary Hong went to. A hand suddenly holds his, and he thinks it's Ji-woo. Turns to be a stunning young lady. She calls out his name and seems quite excited to see him. Who could this be? A past lover or an admirer? Looks like it's an old friend of his. A friend whom he can't remember her name and isn't so excited to see. The show is about to start, so they head inside. She tells the CEO that she is Han Yuan and they met when they were supposed to play a role together. The CEO doesn't look thrilled about it. He really doesn't want to spend the rest of the night sitting next to her. She introduces herself to Ji-woo while holding the CEO's hand. The CEO tries to let go when he caught Ji-woo staring at their interlocked hands. As the show goes on, Yuan praises designer Shang and likens his work to that of Leivella. The CEO doesn't seem to like that. He tells her that those outfits look nothing like Leivella's. Trying to change the subject, she comments on how Ji-woo's outfit looks too old-fashioned. The CEO realizes that he hasn't actually been paying close attention to his secretary's outfit. He's embarrassed. He's prompted to defend her. He tells Yuan about a saying that fashion completes the face, but some people's face overshadows even the finest clothes, while others shine in the simplest outfits. He's definitely comparing her and Ji-woo. Han Yuan is embarrassed. He tells her to focus less on his secretary and more on the show. Ji-woo has been noticing everything going on between them. She signals the CEO and asks if he needs her help. The CEO is amused. Secretary Hong is quite a handful. The show is over and they're on their way home. The CEO asks Ji-woo if she enjoyed the show. She tells him that she spent most of her time watching him, but the little time she paid attention, most of the clothes looked like military patterns that could be worn in 2050. The CEO agrees. He still wonders why Secretary Hong still thinks of the military even after leaving a while ago. She prefers instant mixed coffee, and her favorite jacket is military style. Even her preferred type is a captain. Could it be Captain Kwan? The CEO tries to shove these thoughts out of his head. When did he become so interested in Secretary Hong's personal life? They arrive at his house and it starts snowing. Secretary Hong parks the car and is about to take the bus. The CEO suggests that she takes a taxi. She refuses and says the bus stop isn't too far. He tells her to at least take an umbrella with her, but she runs off. What if she catches a cold with that thin old jacket or even falls while running with those heels? The CEO is worried about Secretary Hong. How can this be? He must be developing a soft spot for her. The following day at the office, Director Min of Texas Korea shows up at the office without an appointment again. Ji-woo isn't thrilled to see him after all the trouble he caused her the last time he was here. He tells her that despite it all, she's still on the job. She isn't just a funny secretary, but a persistent one. He tells her he's starting to like her more. She's about to call the CEO to inform him about Director Min. He stops her and asks if she'll be with the CEO the day after tomorrow. She's surprised and asks where. He tells her they're hosting a Daehan High School alumni reunion. An alumni reunion? Overhearing their discussion, the CEO comes out of his office. Director Min is excited to see him. He asks why the CEO didn't call him to say he is around and is ready to see him. He tells Min he's busy. The office didn't look so busy to Director Min. The CEO tells him to go straight to business, and Director Min reminds Cha of something he told him during the last meeting. The CEO lets him know that it won't be possible, like he said earlier. Min is still so persistent, he tells him that they're putting in their best, Yuan too. Cha asks him to tell Yuan to focus and stop trying to flirt with him. Amused, Min asks if he's going to call the funny secretary to kick him out. Well, there's right about nothing Jiwoo can't do. Director Min tells him that Jiwoo is quite audacious. This is the first time any woman has ever looked Min Eun-jin in the face like she did the other day. He comments on how loyal she is to the CEO, but knowing his nature, she won't be loyal for a long time. The CEO tells Min to stop staring at Jiwoo all the time and also stay away from her. Min is surprised that the CEO is saying something like this about a particular secretary. Something must definitely be going on. He asks the CEO why he shouldn't be interested in Jiwoo, and he tells Min that it's because she's his secretary. Min reminds him that he never said this when he had other secretaries, that this must definitely be different. Jiwoo walks in with 2 cups of instant coffee, and the CEO just can't deal with it. Director Min reveals that he asked her to bring it. Jiwoo offers to make a different cup for the CEO. Min pleads with her to have a drink with him, that's why he asked for 2 cups. She ignores him and is about to leave. The CEO then asks her not to worry. Seems he might have been craving something sweet, or he's drinking it just to make Jiwoo happy, especially seeing that Director Min is trying to hit on her. The CEO might have actually developed a soft spot for Jiwoo. Min asks if Cha is ready to grant his wish. He tells him he'll need a favor from him first, before he does that. Min taunts him for not being any different, always covering up his own issues with someone else's weakness. Cha gets really angry. It's another night of Secretary Hong's overnight duties. She got a text from Manager Han earlier asking what her favorite food is, so he could treat her to it. She tells him it's chicken. She finds a box of chicken on her desk and assumes it's Manager Han, so she proceeds to thank him. While eating and watching a movie, she gets a reply from him saying it wasn't him as he left quite early and couldn't do it again. She then gets a call from the CEO asking her to get the car ready as they have somewhere to be. Could it be that the CEO ordered her meal? They arrive at the store at Hongdae and find that the doors are locked. The CEO tells her they'd go in from the back door as he has to close down the store for a while. Jiwoo blames it all on herself. If she didn't hand over those documents to that manager without the CEO's permission, all this wouldn't have happened. The CEO types the lock code and they go in, but the control switch seems like it's starting to flicker. Could this be an electrical wiring issue, or did someone intentionally tamper with the control switch? Inside the store, the CEO lets her know that they're here to arrange the store and pack up without anyone finding out that they did so. Mid-arrangement, and Jiwoo is exhausted. She thought it wouldn't take long since it's a small store, but turns out things are quite different. Everything has to be arranged perfectly and precisely. Some clothes should be put on hangers, while other fabrics aren't allowed to rub against each other. He tells her where he got the inspiration to design most of the outfits. Some are from China and others from Iceland. He can't help but recall the first day he met Jiwoo at this particular store, where she rejected a coat he recommended, saying it's not her style. He asks if it really wasn't her style, and she tells him that it really wasn't. Her senior just got paid and wasn't in a place to spend a lot of money on a coat. That's why she rejected everything in the store. The CEO tells her that the purchase price is quite a reasonable one and it's affordable. Jiwoo makes him understand that his market research was quite wrong, as outfits that. Expensive don't really sell well in Hongdae. The CEO is furious. He asks if she thinks only people on a tight budget like her walk around Hongdae. Jiwoo is unhappy with his statement because he's implying that she's poor and has no money. She tells him that this store isn't even in the luxury league. Suddenly, they hear a loud boom and the lights go off. Jiwoo tries turning on the lights, but she can't. The CEO begins to lose his breath. The darkness begins to bring back trauma and childhood flashbacks of how he almost drowned to death. The person who tampered with the lights definitely knows the CEO's weak spot and did this to scare and possibly harm him. Jiwoo begs the CEO to stay with her as she tries to calm him down. She needs him to take steady breaths and can't let things get out of hand. Meanwhile, it turns out that Secretary Cheon hacked the conversation between manager Han and Ji-woo and actually ordered the chicken. Director Min caught him in the act, but he lied his way through. He asks Min if he was able to get the favor from Seo-cha, and he tells him it wasn't an easy one. He tells him he actually came to see his friend rather than business. Secretary Cheon knows exactly what he came for. This friend turns out to be Chairman Kim. What exactly is this business they have to deal with? Are they plotting against Seo-cha? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Until next time, ciao!